if it happens. What is happening, people? Welcome to the Peter on Pole podcast live. I'm joined with my family. David in the building. What's happening, David? You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
And ladies and gentlemen, I got some special guests today. Of course, the F1 podcast. Listen, I know we're on podcast live, but this is the F1 podcast because these guys are in the house right now. Please welcome F1. Shout out to Mike and to Stephen, but they're the other way around. So Mike is actually that side and Stephen's the other side. Yeah, you get the drift. Anyway.
Yeah, I just made that to confuse people, to test if they're actually really fans. Do they actually know who we are, even if the names get kind of mixed up? That's what we're really going for here. That's
nice.
It was just completely unplanned. We don't work if we're actually we are the opposite way to what we'd usually be.
This is just all gone wrong.
Know. Yeah, it's exactly. Thanks for having us on the new F1 podcast, because you're on the slot. You're on the Wednesday slot. We sat this off. We're Peter on Pole. He's going to come along and suck it up. We just go in live stream on Monday now and just kind of chat nonsense, which apparently you're going to call us out on. So we'll see you on that front.
Look, 99.9% of it fantastic. It's top content. I can't knock anything about it. But one thing I was surprised.
Here we go.
Yeah, it's nothing too controversial, but. You haven't finished Drive to Survive season 3?
Oh, really, guys?
What are you talking about?
I mean, look, I can see the disgust in the room. I mean, Dave was all being niceties the first time kind of meeting us. Now he's like, Pete, what have you done, mate? Why? Who are these people and why are they on our podcast?
He's done.
Like Peter, let's not lie, yeah. You took time to finish yours as well.
3 days. 3 days.
One day, listen, inch. This guy was one day.
This guy was onto me. Yeah, but I was watching the episode and recorded. So I done a review of every single episode, and then I did like 10 things that Netflix left out. So, hard times. Imagine like 8 a.m. in the morning. I'm watching one episode. I've hit the camera, go, next episode, change clothes, bosh. Like, come on. It is a lot of things.
Exactly. You can't make it look like you recorded them all in one go because, I understand you. And, we don't even have that excuse. We've been taking our time, like a fine wine, enjoying each episode, just the nuances of just, building up to Gunther Steiner going. He was much more friendly this series, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's a lot more tame. So, hang on a minute. Wait, just when I thought you guys were bad, what on earth is going on over here? Uzir says I've watched a single episode.
You need to catch up.
That's joy. I think the threshold's gone, hasn't it? If you haven't started, can you start now?
Is there a way to ban people from chat? No. There's a great guy.
Where's the mods? Got to get them involved.
Great collaborative. I'll tell you what. There is. As we're on camera and he's on live chat, I'm going to.
Ooh, what's happened here?
What's happened here? Technical difficulties. I'm going to assume it's the fact that they haven't finished Drive to Survive, that there is no way that they are being allowed to even continue. That's what's happened. That's what's happened. That they have spoken. We're
back. I tell you what, I weren't joking. When Azed kicked off, I weren't joking. We were gone. But right, we'll go back to the point. One bit of merchandise that he's got, McLaren top from, I think it's about 2005, 2006. It's kind of like this grading. I think it's almost like pink to black type. One of the nicest bits of F1 merch when F1 merch wasn't really a thing. And of course, it was McLaren who seemed to obsess with getting everyone their team merch. But he has that top. So I'm very jealous of that. But that's completely irrelevant to what we're talking about, and probably no one knows what I'm talking about because I can't show the picture of the top. So Pete, sorry, back over to you. Drive to Survive is there. What's he doing? Not even one episode. Reflected from us nicely.
It's good distraction technique.
Good distraction.
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I should even pin that comment, in fairness. But anyway, I just want to send some love out to the people that are currently locked. A girl talks F1. Yes, I big up to yourself. Obviously, is there. What's up, happening? What's happening, people? What's up, guys? AMG Dens, my guy. What's going on? Of course, Liam talks motorsport, mate. He's all over it. He's all over it. We'll talk, Liam. Don't worry. We'll talk. I think I know what Mike was on about. Yeah. So obviously, private conversation. You know,
He knew.
He hasn't like on a podcast or anything, you know.
Yeah, just you know, just
says you got the Sergio Perez Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we're Checo. Well, I'm a big Checo. Wait, should we get the Checo cap on? That's at some point. That's somewhere up in the wall. We'll go.
We mentioned last week that somebody at Red Bull is not paying their electric bill because the way that car just cut out before the racing started. I don't know. Something needs to be going on. Something needs to be going on. But yeah. Oh, the mild 7 jacket, by the way, yesterday that you pulled off. Oh, delicious.
Sure. That's just the type of Fernando love that I can bring out.
Honestly, if I could find one of those. How much did that cost you back? It must have been expensive, or was it at the time?
I think it was. Haley is like my partner. Haley is like a connoisseur of weird little websites where you can get like secondhand things, and I think someone sold it for like 40 quid. I was like, yeah,
nice. Get you a girl who can get F1 merch. Yeah, that then you're winning. That's the end of it.
I mean, she'll get any merch. Yeah.
Okay, look, let's talk some news, shall we, this week? Thank you first of all, guys, for coming on. And just tell us a little bit about yourselves, obviously, for those who don't know you, and what kind of content you guys put out every week. We'd love to know.
All right, well, I've done all the talking for so far. So, do you want to explain it?
Sorry?
Yeah, I'll just throw you on the spot.
Just put it all on me.
Yeah, I'd like, as always on the F1 podcast, I'd take over and Steven's like, are you going to let me talk? Can you talk?
You just throw me in completely.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just throw you in the deep end.
And this is basically what F1 Fanatics says.
The question, who's older? Really, Mike's older, and you're both brothers, yeah? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable scenes, Jeff. Unbelievable. So
crazy. No one believes it. Everyone thinks it's a lie. Everyone thinks that I'm 20 odd. I mean, look at this. Brilliant. I wish I could get away with being 20 odd. Still, I can make a lot more mistakes and people forgive me. He's young. Don't worry about it. What? You're that age? No.
Over.
Look at that. So yeah.
Do you gonna explain F1 Fanatics, or are you just explaining?
Well, we do F1 Fantasy Weekly.
That's
we did the F1 podcast, but cancelled.
Peter on Pole was going to do a better job, so we just got out of the game before we kind of were humiliated.
We knew the bell was lost, so we had to abandon it.
I got into F1 Fantasy last season and I absolutely shanked it. So I thought, you know what, I can't be bothered this year. It was too late, and I thought, no, you know what, screw it, I'm not going to do it. It's like football fantasy. I'll start strong, get on with it, and then right about now, I've still got players in my team that are injured. I remember there was one season I had Coutinho in my team when he had gone to Barcelona in January, and he was still in
That's impressive. So that is impressive.
At that point, I thought, oh, hell's broken loose here. So
it's not for you.
No, it's not. So you guys do so you do your fantasy weekly. You obviously give information and sort of tips and advice on what drivers to pick, what teams to choose, what constructors to choose, as well as you sort of do your weekly sort of reviews of each race, just general chit chat as well about F1. So what are we looking forward to in the next coming weeks so that people can jump on?
Well, you've bigged us up to kind of like be producing amazing content for people. We're just going to go on and give our opinions. You know, you might like it, you might not. It's a place where you can come and talk F1 if you don't want to talk F1 with Peter.
That's it. This is exactly it. And they're gooner. Wait, you're a gooner as well, right? That's what I double check this.
Yeah, he's a gooner as well. Yeah. He's allowed. He's allowed. Yeah. Don't worry. He's going through the heartache.
Exactly. Arsenal fans talking F1 just to deflect the pain. That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay. Look, first things up. Sprint qualifying. I don't know if any of you lot have spoken about or seen this on the news lately in the Formula One world, but sprint qualifying could be a thing this season. What's your thoughts?
What is that, by the way, please?
It's a great question. So I'll read some text, if you will.
Wow. I feel like the text to the room will be appreciated. Yes. You tell us so that I can then pass it on to Stephen before I rip into my actual thoughts on it. So please do tell. Please do.
So basically, the sprint qualifying plan will be to run 3 100-kilometer Saturday races, right, at Silverstone, Monza, and Interlagos to see what impact on television and trackside spectacle. The Saturday race will offer a few points and decide the grid for Sunday's main event. Does that make sense?
No.
It didn't really explain it to me there, but I don't know what a sprint qualifying is. That's the truth of the matter. I'm guessing it's
what? Le Mans or what? Like Le Mans, knock off Le Mans. What the hell is that?
I don't know.
That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, it says a 100-kilometer race. Basically, is what it is, and then that will decide the grid for Sunday.
That's stupid, mate.
What's your thoughts?
That's stupid.
Dave mirrors our thoughts. you take it away. You take it away. I mean, I'm ready for a meltdown on it. Please take it away,
mate. Just keep man. You're trying to be too innovative, whatever the word is. F1 just whoever come up with that idea, just dash that in the bin real quick. Just Q1, Q2, Q3, bish bash bosh.
Done.
It's tried and tested. Yeah. It's all you need. Well, I mean, no one's going at us weekend and going, oh, qualifying again. Wow, that's rubbish. If that was the case, I think everyone would be fine. The only case that's been is because Mercedes, you were like, oh, get pole every time. Max Verstappen's on pole. It was great qualifying.
Qualifying was great at Bahrain, yeah.
Yeah.
But, Formula One has good form for this. Whenever things start to get a bit closer, then think, let's screw it up again. And then it's going to be an out. Ferrari could end up being the new Mercedes for the next 5 years. But it's wishful thinking, but it could happen. And
secretly, we know the people behind the rulemaking in the sport is Ferrari's strategy team.
There you go.
It explains everything.
It does. Yeah. It does. So, I don't know. I'm a bit... like, why these 3 tracks in particular, I don't know. Why Interlagos, why Monza, Silverstone? I guess you can get more action out of them. It's going to be more exciting. I don't know. But... it might actually work for the races that are a bit harder to overtake. Your Singapores, your Imolas, Monaco's, tracks like that. I don't know, but I haven't got an idea where the thought process is with that. But David, you're saying in the bin?
In the bin, mate.
F1 Fanatics, what are we saying? Bin?
It can get in the bin as well.
Ooh.
I mean, look, we have. I think when it's been rumored, I've just been going, no. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it devalues away from the Sunday. Everyone complains about going, oh, we should have less practice because then that'll make things closer. No. Oh no, we're good. We're good. It makes things closer on a Sunday because no one's had enough practice. So what you're saying is you want a complete practice run of the race,
of the actual race, yeah,
to get complete good tire data, to get complete good, a situation of where your car is fitting into the field, and with how hard you might race on a Sunday. If you're not looking good, you might reserve things. I don't know on that aspect. Obviously, in a race, you've just got to go for it, and also. They're wanting to reduce costs. Racing is the most expensive cost into it. If someone goes and loses a front wing, I don't know how much that is. I think people have done videos on it. That's at least like 200K. They're not going to want to be like, oh, it's going to be exciting. People are going to want to overtake. They're going to be like, no, they're not. No, they're not. They're going to be wanting to save the budget. They're like, oh, Jesus, I don't want to waste 4 front wings in a weekend.
No, absolutely. You're right, because that was Horner's point, wasn't it, over the weekend in Bahrain? He was saying, it's all well and good you want us to save 10, 20, 30,000, but then if you want to do sprint races, then you're going to have to kind of accommodate for that. So the money's just going to go back up. I think they've agreed the financial situation. That's why the story came out today that, okay, this is getting even closer to the finish line. So we'll have to wait and see. I don't know what, it doesn't seem like a good idea. It's an absolute stinker. So AMG Den says remembers knockout qualifying. This is giving me similar vibes. Yeah,
I remember that briefly. What was that? I know it was shocking.
So what, before they done the Q1s and 2s and 3s? Is it?
Yeah.
Is it then? Boy, do I even remember? But like, as in, I remember like they tried it for how many days? It was like 1 weekend or 2 weeks.
For 1 weekend, yeah.
And they scrapped it straight away. So we say no.
No, F1. Sorry, no Ferrari. Sorry, mate.
We say no to sprint races.
Yeah, hashtag we say no to sprint races. It's the new one. Get it trending, guys. Here we go. In fairness, we're going to have to be there and watch it.
Yeah.
If it goes ahead. Oh, God. Unbelievable.
What are the chances?
And then suddenly we're going to be like going, wow, biggest fan of sprint racer, first one. We're going to completely change. It's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
What? How wrong were we? Said no one ever.
What are the chances of us being at Silverstone this year, do you reckon? Like fans in general?
We're anticipating high.
Yeah.
It'll probably happen.
Has anyone got their tickets yet?
No,
Yeah, we had it put forward from last year. So we were meant to go last year. So we just kind of knocked it over.
Nice. I've never been to a Formula One race. Fun fact.
My ticket's on Sky Sports.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, I've never
not cheaper option.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Pete. Then you're getting a general admission ticket, and you come and watch the race with us. There you go.
Yes,
we've got general admission. We'll have a great weekend. We've got the weekend tickets to kind of go and have fun and watch the race. Okay, come and do that. That'll be a good laugh.
You do the whole camping thing, like the full 9.
No, we went to hotel, mate. We're from Surrey. We don't do mud. Like, bloody hell, mate. Jesus Christ.
I thought you were doing the whole shebang. Uzair says, "Look, my ticket is a legal stream." Hey,
and I'm with you, mate.
There's not many that are disagreeing with you on that one. Whoops. Let me wait, Dave. I agree. Those Sky Sports tickets be slapping different. You know what? Sky Sports is a bump, though. Let's be honest. I mean, for me to get Sky Sports, you need to have like the entertainment package, right? And then you get the HD, and then it becomes like 60 quid just like that. So as much as, it might be cheaper than a weekend at Silverstone, in the long run, don't know. Especially if you're watching Arsenal lose as well every weekend. It's never that great.
Oh, no.
Let's move on. Let's move on to Toto Wolff's comments. He said this is Red Bull's title race to lose. Do you guys agree?
He's lying, man. Them guys, and I told Pete this last week. Why have they put the race 3 weeks apart? That is not right. Giving Mercedes time to fix their issues, and then you're gonna see them.
It looks like you guys agree.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. This is from the Max Verstappen
I'm
fan.
Scared.
You're scared.
Every time Mercedes go, we're not the better team, they're the better team.
Yeah, so, I mean, they do have history. Like, they are the worst liars in the world. Like,
that's true.
You'd want them to, in a truth test. Like, if you wanted to know, I'll use the example. If you wanted to know that your partner was cheating on you, you'd want to go and ask Mercedes because they couldn't lie.
Oh, that is brilliant. That is brilliant. Yeah. Do you know, I don't know, because, okay, do we agree, do we believe Red Bull's car is faster than Mercedes on just raw pace?
From Bahrain, yes.
Yeah.
Red Bull should have got double podium in that race. Obviously, they had the Checo meltdown with electronics, and he tried his best to get there. But Max should have won that race, and they absolutely stuffed it on strategy. I don't know what they did on the first stint. They just blew it. Yeah. No, that's a fair, because that's the thing. I think maybe this year, as much as Mercedes do tell fibs, I think there is something in it this year where. But like, David, you threw that spanner in the work for me when you said, you know what, why is there such a gap for then Mercedes to come to Imola and absolutely trounce the front row? And then you're like, oh God, is this what it's going to be this year? I think we should have lapped that Bahrain race as much as we could, squeeze all the juice out of it. Because for all we know, it's going to go back to type. And yeah, it's a case of, can Bottas
be less than 30 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. That's what it will be.
Stinks, man. He needs to replace him with what's his name again? Russell. He needs
to replace Bottas.
Yeah, man. He's done, man. He's not beating Lewis. He's a broken man.
I don't know what you mean, Dave, because you know we've now seen Bottas's arse on Drive to Survive. So you know if you see a man's bum on a TV show, then naturally he's played his cards. He's given everything.
We've asked him
that episode, yeah. I did not understand why. How did that who decided that was a good idea?
The thing is, it's one thing to record it, but somebody sat there and said, you know what, we're going to edit this. We're going to put that on Adobe Premiere and cut this up. It was footage you was not even expecting. I know they're going into a sauna, but holy smokes, like, I don't know, some morning, you know, at the start of an episode, scenes of a sexual nature, something like that. Then I can be like, all right, my mind's ready.
Some viewers may find the following scenes disturbing.
Exactly. But we did say we wanted him to be a bit more aggressive. So who knows? I guess showing his rear end.
Not with his trainer. I didn't want to see that. No, absolutely. Or whoever the bloke was that was with him. Well, I guess you can probably say that summed up Bottas's 2020 season, that, you know, in an episode pretty much dedicated to him, that they had to find some sauna scenes to kind of fill the gaps.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen when the video that Mercedes have put out when Lewis and Bottas are having a little catch up start of the season. And Lewis talks about a time he went to Finland and they also went into a sauna. He was like, everyone just got naked. And he was like, sort of like, whoa, what's happening here? He came in his trunks thinking, you know, civil. And then everyone dropped it. And he was like, oh, okay, well, off I go, sort of thing. Okay, when we go. And it's like everybody around him was just normal. Like, this was just common practice. So it made me
laugh. They do, man. It's just what they do. They're just very comfortable with each other. Now you see what we need, the footage, is we need Kimi in a sauna. That's what we need. That's the reaction that I want to see.
The fact that Kimi's Instagram real. Seriously, because I can't imagine he's on Instagram, for crying out loud, right? So when I follow this Kimi Räikkönen, whoever it is, I'm thinking, surely this can't be him. It can't be him. It's far too, like, the character doesn't mix, if that makes sense. So I don't know. AMG then says Bottas is receding like Vettel's hairline. Oh man.
Jeez. Oh no, poor Vettel. The man's balding. He needs it in peace. Oh, jeez, poor guy. Hey?
Poor lad.
You know, look, Ferrari is, you know, a very stressful career path. You know, a lot of stress. You're losing hair, and then he goes to Aston Martin, who Otmar's having a meltdown about. They stopped us with the aero rules. It's not fair.
We got onto him last week.
We got onto Otmar. Is that Sergio Perez cut out again? Is that electrical failure? They're back. They're back.
We were failing just like I don't know. Otmar's excuses of trying to make up that we don't have the money to cope with what you did with our aero package. Like, oh,
mate,
that's you're not the richest man on the grid
now. Honestly,
yeah,
not man.
Nah.
Now we've got to have a third formation lap, ladies and gentlemen. I'll start with this comment as well. That was the video where Bottas and Hamilton were talking about beavers' penis sizes. It's a strange one. It's a very strange one. I think the question was, what's the strangest thing you know? Or something like that. It was along those lines. And then Bottas came out with, I know the size of a beaver's penis.
Okay.
This is the life they live.
You see, this is the information that he's been getting when he should have been spending more time on the simulator.
I think you're right. You're right. Oh, poor Bottas. Let's leave him alone.
We've just ripped Bottas an absolute new one in here. Look, he's a very talented driver, and his qualifying is actually you know, pretty decent. But you know, man, he has been absolutely crushed by Lewis, and I think that drive to survive last series kind of showed that. Like, he was so pumped to beat him in Sochi, and you're like going, mate, that was due to the pit lane penalty, and he was almost like, wow, it felt so good to win. And I was like, well, let's put perspective in Bottas.
Oh, poor guy, because I don't think he's actually meant to be what everyone's expecting him to be. I just think he's like we said last week, he's a nice guy. He does what, you know, Toto's played chess with that move and just said, look, I'm not having another Nico Rosberg where it could go absolute tits up. So he's thinking, you know what, let's get Bottas in there. He will be a superb man in the team. Leave it at that. And leave it at that. But who knows? We'll see. We'll have to wait and see. So are we not believing Toto Wolff's words then? It's not Red Bulls to lose, is it?
No. He's lying.
We confer with David.
Yeah?
We are making this an agreement. We are with the eyes, or whatever they say, and whatever. Hey.
It'll be interesting to see when Red Bull pull out a 1-2 on the front row at Imola. Then we'll be talking. Yeah,
okay, we need another race.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The next race is going to be so contrasting in comparison to Bahrain. Imola is going to be like, I feel like the midfield pack. You know how we're excited about McLaren and what they're doing, and Ferrari sort of moving up the grid a little bit. AlphaTauri looking good. But something tells me that, you know what, McLaren may disappoint in Imola, and all of a sudden Ferrari get in the conversation and really stake a claim. Or maybe even the Alpine, I don't know. Maybe not so, but I do think the Imola is going to throw some surprises. Or some spanners. Let me put it that way.
Wait, Imola.
I mean, Alpine's optimistic.
Yeah. Well, Sky Sports are calling it the Italian Grand Prix. I'm not sure if that's going to be the official name or not, but that's what I was reading. But
what's with all these team name changes, man? It's getting on my nerves.
Just choose one and stick with it, eh? Yeah.
Like, when you say Alpine, I'm thinking, who's that? Like, where?
Okay. Who do you think? Which team?
He's giving them HRT vibes, man. These team names.
Oh God, good
Virgin,
time,
man.
Virgin. What's it called? Okay, guys, guess which team member made this quote? The new mayonnaise will taste better next year. The new mayonnaise will taste better next year. They were referring to their team, by the way, and their car.
Okay.
So this has to be Haas. It has to be. Only thinkers say that. What's his name?
What, Gunther? You know what? I could so see Gunther saying it as well.
Right, was it
next year? No, it wasn't Haas, unfortunately. As much as that.
It'll be one ruled out. Okay, so it's not Mercedes and Red Bull. It's not those. No, because they're pretty happy with how they are. Ferrari. How do Italians feel about mayonnaise in food?
Do you know what? I don't think they.
Not entirely sure they're big mayonnaise. I feel it's more French.
I feel there's got to be some from Alpine, right?
Because I've heard something about, you know, Prost talking about their understanding that they're not going to win in 2021 and stuff. So I'm going to go with Alpine, Renault, Benetton. How far should we go back? Lotus, Lotus, Renault. Sorry, but I think were they something before Benetton, or was that the first Enstone team? I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent here.
Listen, well, you guys are spot on. Alpine. It was the CEO Laurent Rossi who mentioned that the new mayonnaise next year, ladies and gentlemen, will taste better. I laughed. I fell off the chair when I read this.
Fantastic,
reliable.
And he said, and at the end, he even said, you know, we're French, so we know a thing or two about mayonnaise. I was like, really? I had no idea.
See, look, you
There
see
we go.
the logic. The logic.
Yeah, you got it in one.
Why is that not actually stood up? That should be something like a stupid comment that you make and you go, oh, that's just like to relate to their stupid comment. No, they've actually said that they know a thing about mayonnaise. I can't believe it.
They've actually said that. So what they've basically said about this year's car, it's reached its limit. We're at the end of the Alpine car. So what we've got right now, it looks like it's going to be the best part of Alpine this season. But they did say they're going to have the best ever car next year. Now, the way this was quoted was their best ever car. The headline was best ever car for Formula 1 2022, but it means their best ever. So thoughts on Alpine this year, with the fact that the car's not going to get any better this season and hopefully going to be on top next year. What are your thoughts?
Someone needs to be fired.
Why?
You had the entire winter, and after one race, you're saying, the car's done. One, no upgrades have come yet, and you're saying this is it. This is the best.
That's what they're saying. This is what they're saying.
In fairness, they did fire the guy, didn't they? Cyril. I don't know if the car was that bad at that stage.
Cyril.
No, Cyril walked away. Let's be fair. He walked away. You know, they came to an agreement. He was, you know, he may have been pushed before we jumped before he was pushed. But look, let's be fair. He didn't say that he was sacked.
No.
You know, don't put that on him.
Have you watched the Cyril episode of Drive to Survive yet?
They was just crying about Danny Ricciardo.
Exactly that. Man, he was a broken man last year. That was a broken man. And the fact that he was even fighting with the pink Mercedes issue there, you know, he was trying to fight all kinds of battles. But that must have been heartache for him that he left on his own accord. But yeah, I don't know. So what? They should fire somebody else as well. David, you reckon another one should go?
Yep, someone needs to go, mate.
I'm disappointed for Alonso. I'm very disappointed in Alonso.
You're disappointed in Alonso?
No, for Alonso.
I was like, Jesus, man, he's had one race back. He got that kind of crap heap into Q3. I'm disappointed in Alonso. It should have been pole. It's in the name. Peter on pole. It's in the name. I mean, if you're not getting on pole, I don't care about you anymore.
This is it. No, of course. Listen, Fernando's my guy. I adore that man. And the thing is, he's going to be moaning all season long because that car, he's going to have to carry it on his back, literally, like he did with the McLarens. So, but I don't know about you guys, but the gap between Ocon and Alonso, it was quite telling. When you think about it, when you look at the two drivers, same piece of equipment, are you worried for Ocon this year?
Oh, worried.
What? Well, like this could be his last year in F1.
I mean, depending on maybe it could be his last year, but how can Fernando come in? I know he's a two-time world champion, but how does he come in and literally show Ocon what time it is, race one? You know, it's not like they were together, sort of battling it out for 6th and 7th. Ocon was, I think, 13th was he, and Alonso was up in at one point until he had to retire. So, and even just the qualifying times, they were quite telling.
He ain't great, is he?
In fairness, was he Ocon? I won't often defend Ocon, but wasn't he affected by the yellow flag, or that there was something in the qualifying lap that got buggered that caused him to go Q1? He wouldn't have got into Q3 like Fernando, but I think he would have got into Q2.
I like Ocon personally. I actually like him, but I don't know. I can't remember. I'm not sure if the yellow flags. I mean, they may have affected him the way they affected Vettel, who said he gave it everything, but then the yellow flags is what stopped his race. So God knows. But I don't know. It just made me think a little bit. I thought Fernando is going to get to grips with things. The gap should be a lot closer than what it was. But maybe not then. Maybe Ocon shouldn't be worried.
He was out for a year, man. He was out for a year, and he's already showing you up in mate. 2
2 years.
You need to sort yourself out, mate.
It was 2 years he was out. and then they sort, and then they, you know. But anyway, I don't know. Alpine, apparently they'll have their best ever car next year. Do we believe?
It's the
Well,
fact
that's positive. I mean, it can. They've only been around for 2 years, so I guess, you know, as long as it's better than this year's car, this statement's absolutely correct, isn't it?
Ocon might end up like Stoffel Van Dorn when Alonso died in his career too. Oh no! Oh god!
In fairness, you know, you were saying about Alonso moaning this season. He's due a new meme. You know, the GP2 engine. It's got a good. It's had a good run out, so we probably need something new.
Yeah,
he'll probably make a joke about Alain Prost's nose or something like that.
Yeah, between that and no more radio for the rest of the race, those are top two Fernando Alonso quotes that they will live in the memory, long in the memory. Anyone who still believes that Ocon is getting a Mercedes seat is out of their mind. Well, you know, the links with Toto, man, it's who you know, isn't it, in Formula One? I wouldn't rule it out as such, not completely anyway.
That man, he doesn't deserve it, man.
He's not a bad driver, David. He's actually not bad.
Man, he's crap, man.
My goodness.
He's not good, man.
I think you're being harsh on the lad.
Hulkenberg back in that seat, man.
The Hulk?
Yeah, man.
10 years we've waited for him to get a podium. 10 years.
And in fairness, Ocon did get one last year.
Yeah,
exactly.
When was this?
He got it.
Was it the Bahrain one or the outer circuit where
it was one of the two?
Fluffed it, not fluffed it.
Oh yeah, after the Mercedes
fluffed it.
The madness.
Yeah.
After he didn't. No, that don't count.
That doesn't count.
That don't count, man.
That
was lovely.
Don't you take Perez's win away from me. Don't you dare take Perez's win away from me.
I'm happy for Perez because they did him dirty. I mean, they did him dirty. That's why I was clapping for him. The rest of them, Stroll and all them lot, nah, got no time for them.
It's fair.
This could be a good move. Gasly, because again, Gasly's another person that I not worry for, but if nothing impactful happens for him this season, you know, knowing Red Bull, they might look at Yuki later on and think, oh, hang on, we might look at this kid. Forget Gasly. It doesn't look like they like him.
Stay where you are, mate. You're enjoying yourself there. Stay there, man.
Don't join the LP.
I'll be honest with you. With his interviews, he's not going to be in Red Bull AlphaTauri much longer.
See, the thing is, why can't the AlphaTauri car just be like a challenge in the in the front end of the midfield? Why can't they make their own stake? You know, rather than let's go over to Alpine, and you know, it's like making a sideways move, if that makes sense. Unless you're going for the top teams.
That's my point.
Why not? Why can't AlphaTauri be in the mix?
Well, it's because Alpine are going to build the best car that they've ever built in 2022. So Gasly's like, I believe in that hype. You know when Ricciardo got wowed by their spreadsheets when he left Red Bull. You know, Gasly's been wowed by the PowerPoint. They've gone, and you see here, this car is good. And we got. I'm blown away. I'm going to start slating Red Bull in interviews, and then next thing you know, here we go, Renault, all the way from Guan Yu Zhao. Oh, God. Oh.
When Danny Ricciardo was like, was wowed by Renault, I said, hang on, what team have you just come from? What are you getting wowed by them for? You've been in Red Bull for the last 5 years. What is it? It's like he's never seen a big team in his life. It annoyed me. I saw that. I thought, hang on a minute, you are taking the mick. Now he's doing McLaren.
It just has to be hilarious that as much as I like Danny Ricciardo, I think he is a very talented driver in that aspect. You're tempting fate, aren't you? Your last season at Red Bull, your engine's blowing up, and they're gone. Enough's enough. We've had enough of Renault. We're going with Honda to go with that. You then go with that. The guy who had the most reliability issues with Renault, and go, you know what? I want to give those guys a second chance. Those are my guys. Those are the guys that are going to pick me up.
Oh my God.
Oh, mate.
What engine do you reckon Red Bull will have, seeing as Honda's leaving? Like, are you guys worried, or what do we think? Who's coming into the mix?
I don't know, mate. Where are they going to get their engine from? It's not Ferrari. It's not Mercedes.
You've got to make a call to
The
somebody.
engine freeze is on at the moment, isn't it? When did that go on to? 2025?
2025. So basically, Honda have brought all the upgrades, haven't they? They've gone like, screw it, let's go all in on I don't know, blackjack and whatever. Like, all the chips are on the table. 2 years worth of upgrades. Let's bring it in. Try and blow it then. And if Honda, by some chance, have the best engine, then you know, Imola will be a pretty good judge of that because it's a speed circuit. So if Honda does look genuinely quicker than Mercedes engine now, then Red Bull look in a pretty good position because they've bought all the rights to that engine, haven't they?
Yeah. So, okay, so the engine freezing, what does that necessarily mean for next season and seasons to come? So it being till 2025, what does that necessarily mean? Does that mean they keep the Honda engine or what?
Yeah, I believe.
Well, it's now got a weird name, isn't it? It's like the Red Bull Powertrain Limited something. That's what it's called.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. This is Formula One at its best. This right here is Formula One at its best. Speaking on power units, Ferrari. Have you heard about Mr. Mattia Bonotto? Have you heard what he's been saying lately?
Yeah, Ferrari are going to have the best engine in 2022.
Why is everyone saying the best car?
He did. He hasn't even heard it. He hasn't even heard it. This is live reaction. He's broken.
Oh, Stephen. How many best cars are we going to have next season?
As I said, we're we've done one race and you're already talking about next year. Come on, lads.
We're just in April and people are just talking about next year.
Yo.
2021.
I'll tell you what, I've got a podcast for you guys at the end of the year in terms of your roundup. It's like going the best throughout the season of going, well, in 2022, in 2022, we're going to have the best looking car because we're not going to have a green Mission Winnow slapped on the back of our car because we've decided that green and red don't go together. That's what I think when I was like 7 years old, when I was creating a football kit on Pez, I like, that looks good because that's what idiots do when you're 7 years old. Not a guy who gets paid for it as a profession and goes, red and green, that works together in that aspect.
Honestly, that green, ladies and gentlemen, what were they thinking? Like, I get it, the flag, blah, 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 but put some white in between. Just give me a white border on the green. Then you could save it, maybe. And it looks more like an Italian flag then. But I am loving the fact Mattia can't keep quiet, can he? They're going to be the benchmark, he says. The benchmark of the 2020 engine. Fantastic.
See, what them teams then need to do, they need to do what McLaren did. Stop talking and
just do the job.
Just get the job done. I've got a quote from him as well, which, listen, and people tell me Formula One is boring. Listen, I find things on a regular basis where I am in tears. Anyway, he says, definitely the power unit has improved this season, right? Fair enough. Yeah, and he says, I'm happy to see that Alfa Romeo and Haas have progressed. Excuse me? What? What's he talking about?
I mean, Haas were flying. Haas were absolutely flying.
Honestly,
anyway.
He literally said that with his chest. I couldn't believe it.
I don't know what race you watching, mate.
I thought, you know what, this has got to be lost in translation. He probably said it in Italian. Someone English has just had a laugh and thought, screw this. I'm going to put
he gets passed off as a clown. Let's make him have a clown quote. Let's go with it. The only saving grace that Ferrari have is the fact that they've got Charles Leclerc, who will somehow manage to get like stunning performances for them, and then they'll go, you see, our car is better. Like going, is it though, or is Charles Leclerc just very good?
You know what? I've got a bold prediction in terms of Charles Leclerc, right? And I'll do a video at some stage. But he will be Formula One world champion before Max Verstappen. That's right. I said it. I've spoken it. It's there. Yeah. I know it sounds outlandish, but listen, man, that guy, he's Alonso-esque because the way he gets that. Did he not get a podium last year? Or he had like a top 4 finish as well last year in that Ferrari, last year's Ferrari. 2 of them.
He got
2
2.
of them. So
with what team?
With Ferrari.
Nah.
Oh, are you asking me? Are you asking me where will he be champion?
Yeah.
It could be Ferrari. They might have the best benchmark. He said benchmark. He's saying benchmark next year. I'm believing Mattia. He said benchmark next year. So in the next 2-3 years, I think, driver for driver, I think Charles is better than Max. Personally.
Oh.
Personally.
Sorry, I'll be honest with you. Yeah.
I'm on the verge of walking out.
You've invited Stephen onto your channel, knowing full well that he's a big Max Verstappen fan, and this is just literally just making him listen to that blaspheming. I mean, I'm going to have to deal with this after this podcast. He's going to be crying. He's going to be distraught to the next race. He's like, Max bottled it in Bahrain. Maybe he's right. Oh.
Look, yeah. Steve, who's your team? Or are you a driver guy mainly?
Probably more driver, but Red Bull and Max.
Yeah, fair enough. But I don't necessarily like Ferrari. I'm a McLaren. I'm a team guy, so I like McLaren. But when I see talent, man, I mean, I loved Charles in 2019. What he did in 2019, I thought, oh my Lord, he is the man. Then last year, he had no right to be scoring points in that Ferrari last year. Never mind podiums. And it's the fact that, for me, I don't know if he can I don't know if Max can get the best out of a terrible car, if that makes sense. But I do think with Charles, I feel more comfortable.
I
guess we've never really seen it.
That's true.
Yeah,
no, that's true.
I think both of them need to mature though. In terms of their driving style, knowing when to, like for example, Bahrain, Max just wasting his tires away on the second stint trying to catch Hamilton when he didn't need to. So maturity, I think he will get better over time. But right now, I think they're similar.
No, that's a good point. I think Max really should have won that race for sure in Bahrain, but Hamilton's tires were almost awful. And yet he managed to, with experience, of course, he's looked after those tires because we've had an immature Lewis before. But with Max, whether it was just a case of, I want it now, he was like ready to just snatch at it. Whereas if he sort of paced it out, he would have actually done Lewis personally. But
he's a hothead, man. He's a hothead behind the wheel, man.
He's raw pace, isn't he? It goes hand in hand.
But sometimes you need to, Bahrain is tough on your tires, so you need to ease it in a little bit. Don't go max out quickly before then you get close to him and you can't think. Then you get understeer, whatever, and you cost you the race.
Gents, who's the title first?
I think that's a fair point. I'd go back to Turkey last year, was it, when he was trying to overtake Perez as well. Yeah. I think that is probably my big criticism of Max at the moment. And, if any Max Verstappen fans watch this, I'm sorry, Peter, that we've just got a wave of hate coming your way and you'll be cancelled before the end of the week. So I hope you've enjoyed your channel. But
not made it a year yet.
Yeah, good luck, son. But with Max, I do honestly think it is difficult because he hasn't been in a championship winning car, and Lewis has got I think I worked out he's been either won the championship or in a championship battle for 11 seasons. And Max has been 0. Like that's when you go. When you're thinking about this season, unless Red Bull, when it's not significantly better than Mercedes, you just feel like Lewis has the experience and guile to beat him. And by that aspect, if Ferrari do have the best engine in 2022 and is the benchmark because they've paid the FIA that they can illegally inject fuel back into the engine again. No, it was... No,
unconfirmed.
It was unconfirmed. They did nothing wrong, Binotto said. You heard him in Drive to Survive. That man cried with how his reputation was hurt. It's a disgrace. But
And then forward to USA, isn't it? Forward to the Austin Grand Prix, and it's like, well, when you take it out, look what's happened. Ouch.
Yeah.
No, don't talk about it.
It was just
all right?
a coincidence.
You bang out of order, Pete. You bang out of order.
Right. Who's your team or driver? Are you a team or driver man?
I'd say I'm pretty flexible. I kind of like everyone, other than
you're an everyone man.
I'm an everyone man. You know, I like the team. I like to see good drivers doing well, and I like to see teams putting in good performances. I enjoy that aspect, and I think that makes the racing more enjoyable as a whole. But you know, obviously, if there's one man, that is Fernando Alonso. So obviously, this season, I'm a bit more of a driver man because Fernando is back in it. But also, it's like he's not realistically going to be challenging for top positions, and I'm not going to be going too wild, going over. Wow, we got a 9th place, incredible.
No, fair dues.
I'm Lewis Hamilton all the way. Lewis,
you're Lewis all the way, David. Yeah.
Yeah. I like to see him. I like to see him get pushed.
Oh, hello. Are we being caught? Is the police on us? I can hear some. I don't know. It's gone now, which is fine. But you know what? Lewis burnt me, man. When he left us in 2013, he really hurt me, man. He really hurt me. And so for the first couple of years at Mercedes, I wanted him to fail. I did not want him to do well at all. Because
scars cut deep, mate. Scars cut deep.
You know, we brought him in. We brought him into Formula One. We brought him at 13 years of age. The man walked into the McLaren team, right? We looked after him. We cuddled him, you know. And then he was put with Fernando Alonso. So, you know, that didn't go down too well. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, no, fair enough. Lewis, I can't deny it, you know. It's weird because when Schumacher was, you know, absolutely killing it, I was sort of like, and even when Vettel was killing it, I was a bit like, oh, I can't take this anymore. I can't stomach it. But now when Lewis is doing it, I'm like, do you know what? Maybe because I've matured and I got older myself, where I feel like, you know what, we're watching greatness here. Let's drink it in, sort of thing. So I really hope Max Verstappen can push him all the way, because then I just love watching Lewis Hamilton race, because like my favorite race of the season last year was Turkey with that Lewis performance in the wet. Like that was just incredible. And that's what I mean. I don't, you know, Lewis, I've enjoyed his career throughout it. And I wouldn't say, you know, I'm a big Lewis fan, but I just love watching him do what he does in those situations. It's just, you just go, wow, like this kid's so good. Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that's true. That is true.
He needs what is it? As for the drivers' championship, Perez needs to be on job, because it can't always be 2 against 1.
Do you know what? I think he will. I think as long as the team don't mess about with him, like, you know, all this experimenting with him, like, you know, let's cut out these mediums in Q2. Okay, let's just get him as far to the front row of the grid as you can, and you know, a four car swing. You know, you never know. Like, it could. There'll be race. We would love to see races where Perez wins it and then Bottas wins it, Max, Lewis. Like that could be. We would all love that. We would take that in all day long. You know, just make it a tight race, which is what we all want. I'll just get through some of these comments because a few people have put things in here. AMG Den says people will say Max has driven with a competitive car that is difficult to drive, like oversteer, twitchy. Yeah, that's a fair point. And then he mentions as well, it's Max's lack of experience which catches him out compared to veterans like Lewis. Yeah, I mean, you know, these drivers are young. They're bloody young, you know, to be doing what they're doing at this point. Sometimes Max hard-headedness pays off. Like the race he's pushed both Mercedes in the second Silverstone race. Yeah, when Mercedes struggled on the tire. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a funny joke. Hamilton's completed more race distance than on 3 wheels than Mazepin on 4. Now, again, dying with laughter when I watched it. Exactly. You know, look. You know, McLaren walked so Lewis could run at Mercedes. Exactly. That's why it burned. But you know what? I've got over it. So, you know, big up to Lewis Hamilton. It's a shame that we haven't seen Hamilton race wheel to wheel too often in the hybrid era. In the McLaren era, he was the most exciting driver on the grid, and people forget that. you know, then at that time, you know, with Alonso at Ferrari, with Vettel at Red Bull, and even Webber in there as well, like it was entertaining, isn't it? There was a lot of, it could be anyone that could win this weekend as such, to a degree. But, you know, it was down to the car failing all the time for Lewis in that McLaren. And I guess that's what probably made his mind up and said, you know what, screw this. At some point, give me a car that can win championships, and then, you know, the rest could be history.
I think 2012 was the year on that. I think 2012 was the year, because that car, I think everyone obviously talks about Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel, but realistically, Lewis Hamilton should have been in that, because that McLaren car was pace-wise right up there with both of them. And, you know, it wasn't Red Bull's greatest year for pace, and Ferrari were consistently a bit like not the quickest, but competitive. In that aspect. Lewis really should have had a real shot at the championship that year, but as it flew away, and obviously the leaking of the telemetry at Singapore, they just went too far. But yeah, I agree that kind of comment on the hybrid era. You know, we really missed Nico Rosberg, I think, on that aspect.
He won his world title and left. I don't respect that.
And that's the thing. I think he had to grow elbows, didn't he? We were saying last week on the pod that, you know, Bottas needs to grow those elbows and hopefully push Lewis to the edge. But, you know, even for Nico, nice guy Nico, it was too much for him. You know, one year of that, he's like, no, I'm not doing that again.
I get it. Like, as F1 fans, Dave, I completely agree. You're like going, I'm so disappointed. This, you know, 2 years you'd been beaten by Lewis. Now you finally beat him, and it would have been so interesting to see. It would have been such an interesting. And Vettel obviously improved in that Ferrari in 2017. Can you imagine a three-way fight? You know, might Lewis have not changed? It would have been fascinating. And you kind of feel robbed as a fan that Rosberg walked away, but I kind of get it, because he had to. That shows how good Lewis is. That he had to literally do everything, put his entire self into that season. And he's gone, you know what, one's enough.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And what do you think about this comment as well? Referring to Lewis, that he drove in the McLaren like Max drove in between 2015 and 18, win or crash, overtakes galore. Yeah. I think fair enough. If you're proper, you are good. Let's see. Did you hear about the mind game Schumacher did to Nico Rosberg and how Nico learned how to be more aggressive? Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, I can't remember the podcast, but I heard Nico Rosberg talking about that, and it was quite it was quite funny. I think it was even as simple as like Schumacher went to the toilet and knew that Nico Rosberg needed to go to the toilet, and it was like before a session or whatever, and he just like did it right up into the thing, and then just kind of came whistling out. It's like, oh, sorry, Nico, I didn't realize you needed to go. It was he was like, Michael was so clever, because he made you feel like you were friends, but he was like, look, when it comes down to it, I'm going to put you into a wall, Damon Hill. What?
Sorry?
Yeah, no, exactly. No. Yeah, I heard that, you know, Schumi had his tactics, you know, in order to win. I mean, to be a 7-time world champion, you got to have something about you. There's a bit of steel or a bit of snide about you, which we were talking about Bottas needing a bit of Luis Suarez in him just to be competitive somehow, some way, you know. But yeah, lastly, anyway, before we wrap up, Kevin Magnussen was speaking this week as well about him joining Toro Rosso before he had joined Haas. How different would his career have been? Would he still be in Formula One today?
No.
No.
Not good enough.
You'd think
the time
quite similar to Kvyat.
Say that again.
It would probably be quite similar to Kvyat, where he just kind of does all right, but then still gets kicked out at the end of the day.
Oh, poor lad. I mean, this was meant to be at the time when Albon joined the Toro Rosso. So, you know, it's one. I think Haas was on top of Toro Rosso at that time as well. So I wonder if, you know what, in hindsight, maybe you can easily say he should have gone. But at the time, it would have been difficult to leave. After Haas, I think, finished 4th in the championship that year. 4th or 5th? I can't remember now. But
it was 5th. They just missed out to Renault. That was first Drive to Survive season, I think, actually, as well.
Yes.
yeah, I think they had a poor end to the season. I think a couple of disqualifications in like United States or like a couple of failures in the home race, and it didn't pan out. But I always quite rated Kevin Magnussen. I feel like he's one guy that, you know, I would have liked to have seen in more. He was a guy that never was really given a consistent chance to show what he could do. Like, he was at McLaren, got dropped after 1 year so that they could bring in Fernando Alonso. He was then out of the sport. He then went to Renault for 1 season, and then they kind of dumped him for Hulkenberg or something like that. Then he finally found a home at Haas, and he's like, well, you know what? These guys are giving me a home. I can understand him wanting to be loyal in that aspect. And then probably he's seen the Rich Energy deal come in. Obviously, we know that that's a horrible thing now. But I guess at the time, you know, we didn't know how bad they would be, but you know, that's big sponsorship money, isn't it, coming in, building on a season where you finish 5th. Toro Rosso always is perceived as a feeder team for Red Bull, and it's very like, especially for someone who wouldn't have been in the Red Bull Junior program, it would have been like, well, I could get axed at any season. So I get it, but it's nice to see him in a series now in IMSA where he can compete at the front and show what a talented driver that he is.
Yeah, he could probably walk his way back into Formula One, you know, given the next couple of years. You know, it's not over for him. I don't think Formula One's over. I don't think it's finished. I think he's still got a bit of unfinished business there. Yeah, lastly, just your predictions ahead of the race in Imola. Give me your pole position in qualifying. Give me your top 3 in the podium and first out.
Oh, out, Mazepin, bro. First one.
Easy this season.
First again.
First again, yeah.
I think he's gonna stay back and just let everyone go and then just run the race, just so he's not the first.
He's just, I don't like him, bro. First of all, you come with sponsorship money. You're not a good driver. Second of all, you make mistakes as well. Nah, it's not good. Season is not going to end well for him.
Yeah.
He's
Hamilton.
You say Paul Hamilton?
Yeah. And top 3. Hamilton, Verstappen, and who's the other? Let me say Perez. I'm going to go Perez.
Oh, interesting. Stephen?
I know we were saying Mercedes are back, but I'm going to back Red Bull. I'm going to go say Max. Max gets pole again. Then podium. I'm going to go Max, Checo, Leclerc. Both Mercedes are going to crash out.
Ooh.
And but they're not going to be. They're not going to be the first to crash out.
Who's the first to crash out?
That's going to be.
Oh,
it's got to be Mazepin, right? It's just the Haas. It's just Mazepin and the Haas. The wheel's probably going to like fall off, and he's going to drive into the wall or something.
You guys are bad. Mike, give us your predictions.
Okay. First out is it's going to be Valtteri Bottas. He sees that Checo competes with him in qualifying and self-destructs. Just goes, I can't hack it on. I'm out. Go from there, and then I'll my pole position. I'll go with Max Verstappen, and then I'll give you my realistic podium, and then my kind of bold podium.
Okay, go for it.
Go.
So realistically, I think in this race, all things considered, where we've viewed things at Bahrain, everything, Fernando Alonso will win the race, and then finishing in P2 is going to be Pierre Gasly, and then Checo can have a P3. Why not? Mercedes, it doesn't pay to be a Mercedes. This one, and then bold
non-realistic one.
Yeah, my non-realistic one is Mick Schumacher winning Imola to emulate his dad, Ferrari-wise. George Russell putting on pressure on Bottas. He waves to Bottas as Bottas crashes out, and he goes, "Cheers, mate. That's my seat. Thank you." And then Yuki Tsunoda, because who doesn't want to see Yuki Tsunoda on a podium? Yuki!
Love it. Okay. I'm gonna go Sebastian Vettel to be the first out.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, whoa! Look at this. Seb
Spin him off.
Hater. Seb Hater. Oh, jeez, this kid.
It's not hate. Listen, what we saw in Hockenheim, 19 was it 2019, 18? We saw his career. When that tire connected with that barrier, that's where the career. It went straight in like that, and the man has never recovered since. Oh dear. I'm sorry. I'm not having Sebastian Vettel anymore. Everything, even in his Red Bull days, all the ducks had to align. Everything had to be perfect. If there was a little smudge, he's not winning the race. And that's not the fight he's in.
In fairness, I would counter that point with Brazil season finale 2012.
Okay.
That's one race.
I can't think of others off the top of my head, but let's not kind of fine.
I'll give you that race because I cheered when he spun. After there we go.
So we've got one race.
Yeah, your research for the rest of the season is to find the rest of them. But yeah, Vettel, out he goes. On pole position, I'm actually going to agree with Steve. I'm going to go Max Verstappen to go on pole. And the top three, I think it'll be Max, Lewis, Perez. So I'm going to go with those three. There's a few people who put up their predictions as well. I want to show some love. Yeah, Uzair says Max on pole, Max to win, Lewis second, Perez third. Okay, exact same thing. Look, I didn't just look at you.
I think that's the most realistic one. I think
so?
If Honda's engine is better than Mercedes at this point, then I reckon that Imola on a difficult track to overtake and a quick circuit, I think that's probably the most realistic.
Yeah. AMG Dens puts Lewis, Max, and Lando. Oh, we haven't spoken about Lando today, but yeah, Lando. I hope he just keeps his head down, just keeps plugging away, and surprising us all with fantastic points. Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys know what this comment is in relation to. So last week we were talking about some of the worst drivers. I think we were rinsing Vettel last week. So if you love Vettel, don't watch the podcast. But anyway, we'll give him Vettel a bundle. And then this gentleman was brought up, and I had totally forgot all about him. And then AMG then sent me a DM and sent me a crash at San Marino Grand Prix, and I thought, oh my God, this guy is one of the most hilarious F1 drivers of all time. I don't know who was worse between him, Pastor Maldonado, even Roman Grosjean. I know we can't speak bad of him now, but he's in the mix. I don't know what, in your opinion, in your racing history, who is the funniest or the worst F1 driver in your time?
Well, I think from when we did our classic race reviews, a fun one that we always like to do is every time we watched, races through the 80s and 90s, when you go from there, was De Cesaris. We watched our first classic one was I think Long Beach Grand Prix, and he retired. And every time we went through the results of the race, it was De Cesaris retired.
Every great race he retired in.
Yeah, he just wasn't there. He just couldn't compete. And the funny thing was, they actually were quite quick, and the commentary was cruel. It's he's got this opportunity with was it Alfa Romeo or McLaren? It was one of the two in that race, and he was leading, I think, or he was at least in a strong podium position, and then just crashed by himself into the wall. And you're just going, oh, that just sums it up. But he had a 200 race career or something like that. He had a stupid amount of race starts. Wow. Yeah, crazy, man, through the 80s and 90s. I think it's because he was Italian, so they seem to get kind of a free pass. Oh, you just watch Giovinazzi's going to have a 300 race career.
Yeah,
everyone
10
hating
years
on him.
of Gio.
Listen, be careful. These Italians could cancel you guys. Yeah. Edwin just put up here, Max on pole, but Sir Lewis to take the win. And obviously, it was there. He believes what I'm saying. He's finished. And again, since 2018, he's done. That's exactly it.
Mate, you better be careful. You better be careful. You're starting like this Vettel hate campaign. You're going to have to change the channel name. Going, Vettel is done.
Check this one for size. Rosberg better than Vettel. It's going to cause some problems. That's going to cause some problems.
Oof.
That is tough. 4-time world champion versus.
I'm not involved. I'm not involved in that one.
Oh, that's an argument you probably want to stay away from. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to go Vettel. But yeah, Rosberg. Yeah, Rosberg did fight. He fought like an absolute warrior against Hamilton. So fair dues on that. Well, people, we've come to the very end. And obviously, before we go, Maldonado was the funniest. He was saying that, how did we pronounce this bloke's name? Is it Ide? Ide?
I'd.
I'd.
I
would never trust you on pronunciation.
Yeah, don't ever trust us. Regularly on videos, they go, who's that you're speaking about? And I'm like,
wish me luck tomorrow with the Slavia Prague players. Bloody hell. I've been studying that.
Have you got to announce them?
Yeah. So it's the double substitutions that will throw me right off. That's what they're going to do, isn't it? Double substitutions.
Good luck to you, mate.
That's when it's it goes to be Tong. Pronounce it like eBay. Oh, eBay. Okay, interessant.
eBay.
Yeah.
eBay. eBay. So I was kind of right. I'd.
Yeah, close. Right on the same street. Yeah.
Yeah, basically next door, mate. Same house.
Listen, Mike, Stephen, thank you so much for coming on the podcast tonight. Honestly, it's been a great fun. Dave, as always, as well. Thank you for being on here as well. Thank you to everyone today. Make sure you go and follow these two gentlemen, F1 Fanatics on YouTube. Hilarious stuff. They've even got Indie Fanatics as well. Do you want to plug that as well for the masses, just so that they know that you can, they do more than one type of formula. Okay. So make sure you get involved. And as well, don't forget to like the video if you like the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Peeps, with that, lights out.
Relax.